So the real life situation that I chose to do for my TOK presentation is how human sciences are connected to cancer culture and the community seeking to ruin singer Joji's career. My knowledge question is, to what extent is cancer culture created through assumptions, misinterpreted language, and hate? My knowledge claim is, internet anonymity created cancer culture. Evidence for this is, if you go into most or all social media platforms, you will find that most people don't use their real name. Instead, they use a username, and most of their profile pictures aren't of themselves, but usually of an artist they listen to or just a cool background. And so most people who participate in cancer culture are those part of what is known as the K-pop stans, who are people who overly love K-pop or Korean pop, and usually they post only fan cams or like snippets of concerts of their favorite band, and the profile picture is usually of a K-pop star, and their name is usually of a K-pop artist that they enjoy. Now, these people sought out to ruin Joji's career because during Joji's time as a YouTube content creator, he went under the name of Filthy Frank. After this, he turned singer and songwriter called Joji, but during his YouTube career, in one of his songs, he was caught saying the derogatory word for the African Americans and an offensive term commonly used in Australia, and also known as the N-word or the C word. When this gained popularity, the cancel culture on Twitter tried to ruin his career and credibility by showing their disgust for his actions by making tweets and otherwise showing their disgust through their tweets. So, just to give some clarification, Filthy Frank is just an internet persona made by Joji. Filthy Frank is, as described in his YouTube bio, is everything a person shouldn't be, and who highlights the ridiculousness of racism, misogyny, legalism, injustice, ignorance, and other social blights. He sets the example of how easy it is for any material to gain traction by joking about topics others would find offensive. So overall, he is being offensive on purpose, and this is all satire, and he's just trying to prove a point that even if you're being offensive towards literally anything, you can gain internet fame. So I'm seeking to show that if these people who sought out to destroy his career, if they weren't shielded by their fake usernames and profile picture, if all their real personal information was shown or needed to make an account, I believe that cancel culture wouldn't exist at all on Twitter. Thinking about Facebook, you need to use real information about yourself to make an account to connect you to other users you may know, like your family, friends, or people around you. With this in mind, there is no cancel culture on Facebook without thinking about political opinions that people address, because that is on every social media platform. If cancel culture were to start on Facebook, everything about that person would be found or already known. Where they live, what they do, where they go to school, and so on. And knowing the internet, the internet would then use this against them and possibly cause harm onto that person. Now, the opposite is on Twitter. Cancel culture thrives on this platform with the fact that you can be as anonymous as you choose to be. You can, if I were to DM a person who participated in this, and they could easily just as delete that account and make a new one, and I would have no idea who they are. But on Facebook, they have to use those same credentials again. Otherwise, they'd have to make a whole new person, but that obviously wouldn't make any sense, or not make sense, but it isn't realistic. But now, thinking about it, there's also the argument of news sources. They are both online and on television, and they're not anonymous. The newscasters, you can find out all you want about them. They promote their face, they share their name, and they, on their social media accounts, they probably share, or not probably, but they definitely share their real name and like other credentials related to them. But I wouldn't say that they are directly a part of cancer culture, but instead they promote cancer culture without being anonymous. So they're not getting any backlash while also promoting cancer culture. And this is because they are also surrounded by like-minded individuals, which also brings up the effect of bias and how biased news sources, they're biased because they're surrounded by like-minded individuals. But that is a whole other argument that I'm not going to get into. So, as an example, on Memorial Day, I found an article titled "Trump Spends Memorial Day Weekend Golfing and Insulting Female Politicians." This isn't directly a part of cancel culture because otherwise it would have a direct impact onto Trump. Instead, this is also causing an indirect impact by painting Trump as a bad person. They aren't from the title, they aren't directly giving their stance on the issue that is presented through this article. They are trying to cause cancer culture for Trump in this case. They're trying to, like, quote unquote, cancel Trump. But on Twitter, it is more direct. For Joji, a hashtag was made called hashtag Joji's Over Party. And during the time that this was prevalent, if you clicked on this hashtag, you would find a lot of people showing their hatred towards Joji. And now if you clicked on it, which now is what saved his career, you'll find all of his fans who followed him during his Filthy Frank time as on YouTube. It is all just support for him and confusion as why people are trying to cancel him, or people backlashing at the people who are trying to cancel him. Now, there's also another relapse situation that has occurred that is also part of cancer culture. Extremely recently, I think around a week ago, another YouTuber by the name of H3H3 did a video talking about Keemstar and why, and like addressing and confused as to why he's so popular. Long story short, it's basically like a rant video where ranting about Keemstar, and towards the end, he brought up G Fuel. G Fuel is a sponsor of Keemstar, and his fans, H3H's fans, decided to attack G Fuel and crowd their DMs with why they're endorsing Keemstar. Keemstar then lost his sponsorship with G Fuel, therefore, like, that's a lot of income out of Keemstar's pocket. And this overall is bad because you're giving power to content creators and their fans, and they can now ruin people's lives. Now, like, if I had a sponsorship right now and I was a content creator and someone didn't like me, they could easily get their fans to go for my sponsors, and I would then lose my sponsorship, and then that's losing money that I can use, like, to pay for food and so on. Now, moving on to the end, if sites were more similar to Facebook in the sense that you have to use Google credentials, there would be fewer people who participate in cancer culture. This is proven through the fact that Facebook doesn't have a cancer culture, or it's very minimal and doesn't come up at all. Even though Twitter's audience may have a Facebook account, they don't participate or create a cancer culture on Facebook. Even Instagram has a lack of cancel culture because of how open you have to be on the platform. You have to post pictures of yourself and show real credentials to an extent, not as far as Facebook goes. Along with, if the effect of anonymity were less present on the internet, people would act more like themselves in real life. This would make most of the internet like Facebook, so less people causing drama or participating in drama, and drama wouldn't gain much of traction. The internet would be used to keep in touch with friends and family, to share pictures and videos, and so on. This would inherently benefit the internet as a whole because people would be less willing to start drama if they know they would get backlash and have their own personal information used against them. I thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed.